Let's check out our C++ best time to buy and sell stock LeetCode problem. So we're given an array called prices. You see vector type int. We're editing the actual array itself, prices, where prices at a specific index is the price of a given stock on that specific day. We want to maximize our profit by choosing a single day to buy one stock and choose a different day in the future to sell that stock. We want to return the max profit we can achieve from our transactions, and if we can't have any profit, we should just return 0. We're given some examples down here, so if you want, you can check these out. I'll have this problem, like the other problems, in the description below. So let's do this. We have our prices right here. It's going to be this array. Notice how our output is 5. So we can't just return a 6, which would be like 7 minus 1, because you have to buy before you're able to sell. So realistically, whatever is the lowest value, that's what we want to buy at, and then we want to sell at whatever is the greatest after the buy index. So let's make our int buy. We're going to set it equal to the first index. I look down here and prices length can be at least 1. So we'll at least have one thing in here. So buy is going to be equal to prices, and it's going to be at the 0 index. And then we are also going to have our sell, which we'll set equal to 0 because we have nothing in right now. We're then going to want to return our sell when we're done with it. To go through our entire array, it's easiest to do a for loop. And since we're going to look at the actual elements, it's simple to do a for each loop. If we need to look at the indexes, we can always modify this in a second. But we'll have int days, and then this is going to run for the entire prices like this. Inside of this for loop, we are going to want to get a new price every time we have a new small value. So we can set buy equal to the min. This is going to use the math class. And then we're going to have inside of here our previous buy. And we're also going to have our current index, because it may be smaller, right? The current element at the index may be smaller. So we also have to compare this to our current days. That's going to be our buy. Now we also should update our sell. Sell should be equal to whatever the max value is, right? Because we want the maximum profit. So sell, we want to compare our previous sell with our current days, but since we're returning sell, this is going to be basically the profit, the difference. We're going to want to have our current days minus whatever our current buy is. So days minus buy. Whatever is greater is what it will return. So if we look at like this example right here, I'll put it in a comment. We go through this one time. First, prices at index 0 is going to be 7. But if we go through this for loop, we can see that we're going to reset this to be 1. We go through this again. We're not really going to adjust this at all anymore because 1 is the smallest value. We are going to adjust our sell though. And sell is going to be equal to, well, if sell is equal to 0 and we compare it with our current days, which will be this element, minus our buy, which will be 0, it's going to be 0. So it doesn't really matter, sell is still 0. We go through this again, and now our days is going to be 1, our buy is going to be 1, so again it is 0. We go through this again, we have this 5. Now this is where it gets interesting. Sell is 0, days is going to now be 5 minus our buy, which is currently 1, and so we're going to have 4 here. And you're going to go until you get to this 6, right? Well, you'll go through the entire thing, but let's use this 6 as an example. We don't need to do 3 because nothing's going to happen since 3 is so small. So 6 right here. Sell is equal to max. We have a sell of 0 here, and then we are going to have days minus buys. Days being 6, buy being 1. We're going to have 5 here. Our previous sell was 4, and so sell is now equal to 5, and we want to return 5. If we run this, that should be it for our first test case, and then we can submit this and see what our runtime is. 95 milliseconds, that is definitely not the best. Memory, definitely not the best. If we click on one of these, you can see that you have a lot more code. You'll have it be done a lot faster, but for readability, I'm totally fine with what I have right here. That'll be it for this problem. If you want more LeetCode problems, check out that playlist link below the like button.